It'll take one moment. I got to mute out my Facebook so that we don't get an echo.
Says we're streaming live on Facebook.
All right. Welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. We're so glad you could attend. Come inside. Come inside. Today, I'm blessed. This is Conversations with Clients, and I've got two of my clients with me, Ryan G and Sumed C. And Sumed is the founder of the Flow Zone Academy and other things. And Ryan G is a data scientist, but they are working together on something very new, very exciting called Primal Sutra. And so, let's start off. Let's just rip into it. Let's rip the Band-Aid off and talk about what the heck is Primal Sutra. And we'll start off with Sumed and have Ryan, elaborate a little.
Awesome. Well, it's great to speak about this process because we haven't really talked about it live like this. So it's really cool to be able to, first of all, experience that. So Primal Sutra was this concept that we really discovered when we were doing a lot of inner work. We were doing a lot of shadow work. We were doing work to heal ourselves. And through that process, we noticed there's a lot of technology that we could use and combine them, integrate them. The word sutra itself means like suitor it's like a thread that connects everything, which I guess it could be like text as well, or a doctrine or treatise. However, it's more like we've been finding certain hidden codes within doing the spiritual work. Yeah. And we've understood that we've enhanced ourselves so much to the level where we're starting to cause a ripple effect with the people that we've helped. And I think the whole mentality is to get back to our primal selves, is to connect with that core essence of who a man is, what a man is. And we don't really have that question from society, we had to explore that ourselves. So that was kind of the foundation.
Yeah, I know that, we all have a primal self, and that I think society kind of almost wants us to bury that primal self. And Ryan G, why don't you tell us, why is it so important to nurture the primal self, and how does that make us better men?
Well, Joe, that's a good question. It has a lot to do with, do you as a man want to have a better life? Then you need to go back to the fundamentals. You have to go back to why things worked, be it the yoga, be it the martial arts, be it, exposing yourself to, the technologies that, make you face the man in the mirror, make you face the pain that is you, make you face, that which you have hidden from yourself, meaning your core wounds. And are you man enough to face up to those? And it's both for me and myself, it's been one hell of a journey trying to not only test this product out on ourselves, but also help all these men, in this case for free, to evolve through it.
Yeah, I'm a man. I live in this world, and I've done a lot of work on myself, and I've watched both of you guys. It's clear, you guys aren't ordinary men. You're men that have been working on yourself and elevated yourself for many years. And one of the things I've really gotten from you guys is like, okay, I've helped myself, Sumed's helped himself, Ryan's helped himself. And now you guys, Ryan and Sumed, you're like, okay, we've helped ourselves, but it'd be kind of selfish for us to just do this for ourselves. And now, Sumed, why don't you talk about this evolution from helping yourself and evolving into like recognizing that other men need help too?
That's a great question, Joe. So I think in the self-help industry, we have this idea of like, okay, there's something outside of me that's giving me the help. It's not actually self-help, it's a lie, right? Because true self-help is that inner work, like going internally and doing the difficult work. Not just from reading a book that somebody else wrote and then trying to apply those methods for yourself. Like that's not really self-help in a sense. So we are looking at this paradigm very differently now. And could you repeat your question, Joe?
Yeah. So you've done layer upon layer upon layer, level upon level of personal help, and I know Ryan has too.
Mhm.
And the question is like, okay, what is it? Okay, you've done it for yourself. Why are you now reaching out to help other men?
Right. I think we've been called forward almost in a sense where we are being led to be men of service, the servant king.
Mhm.
I think that there is this missing piece in a lot of people's lives, and it is that spiritual element. A lot of people can't really find that authentic, real connection with source. Like a lot of men just cut themselves off from it, honestly, through different ways. They find all the different ways to run away from their own souls, right? And so we were inspired by seeing the condition of men on the planet, how bad it's got, right?
Yep.
To a level where we can't even measure where someone is at, because we can't measure somebody's internal world. We don't know what's going on in people's heads. But men have reached out to us on YouTube comments, on videos, like, hey, there's something interesting about what you guys are talking about, right? And so we just answered the call in a sense, Joe, right?
Yeah.
We just,
I think men are people, and Jay Abraham taught me this. People are silently begging to be led, and people are silently begging for that leadership. But Ryan G, men are a lot of men. A lot of men are okay. We're all okay. We're all, this mediocre land, um, um, but I think a lot of men are striving for. I don't want to be mediocre. I don't want to be average. I don't want to be normal. I want to be. I don't want to just be myself. I want to be my best version. My higher version of myself. Ryan, what is it that you think that What is it that you feel you can offer men to help them elevate their consciousness and their way of being?
Well, it all comes down to one thing. Do you want a better life or not? We all do. Wars have been fought over just having a little bit of better life. Now, if it's just 10% you're looking for, you're at the right address. If you want more, well, we have programs for that. Now, what we do at Primal Sutra is go to the core of how to improve yourself. Really figure out, okay, you've done all this work, but have we really addressed what needed to be addressed? Have we really addressed, your motherhood wound, your father wound, your childhood wound? These things affect your behavior so much that you might be missing out on all that beautiful life that you could have been living, right? And it's the same thing with, the analysis of, if you want to have a faster car, why not have a lighter chassis? Maybe you're too burdened. Have you ever, thought about that? All these, let's say, traumas, all these, wounds, all these, story loops that just get in the way of your own success, not even success, your happiness. When's the last time you were really proud of yourself? When was the last time you were, really in admiration of yourself? What's the
Yeah.
last time?
Yeah, I think, this idea of owning, I am a child of God, whatever your faith is, I am a child of divinity. I am the son of a king. That makes me royalty as well. I think sometimes we lose track of our own sovereignty and our own divine nature, and we overcomplicate the process. And I think that there is like you said, if you want to go faster, lighten up, lighten your load, simplify. Because I think it's you'll hear me say this all the time. I believe that simplicity is godly and complexity is the devil.
You're absolutely right, Joe. And that's why we as Primal Sutra have decided to combine ancient tech with modern tech, with, ancient, Indian technology to whatever extent we managed to find, be it Vedic, Akashic, and whatever, with the current philosophy that we managed to find, to Stoicism and you name it, to the IMC process, to our own inventions, and just ask one question: can this be done better, more faster, more efficient, more effective? And can this be scaled to, a group level or, an international level? And we have done it so far with all the test runs. The testimonials speak for themselves. We've helped people in India, in the USA, in the Netherlands, that includes me. At this point, we're trying to look at people, are the people in Antarctica interested and do they have an internet connection? That's to the point where we're trying to scale this up now.
Yeah. And Sumed, why don't we talk about, I know that you guys, I mean, you're not just sitting around doing chit chat sessions. You've got like, what do you got, like 60 formal topics that you teach. What are some of the, some of the, I know that like Ryan kind of started developing a program called Matches into Dates to help men have more women connect with them, and they're, we all meet somebody on a dating program, but it doesn't necessarily turn into anything. And so that's kind of started off as an entry level program for you. But in the meantime, Sumed, what are some of the, like, that's just like that's like level one, first step, baby step. What are like, you got like 60 different topics and more. I know you're super creative and you're constantly creating new content and new concepts to help men, like mind, body, spirit, health, wealth, relationships.
Yeah.
Don't tell me all 60 at once, but why don't you tell me kind of the method to your madness? What are some of the kinds of things that you are teaching men, and where are you going with all this as far as your library or your encyclopedia of knowledge and wisdom that you're imparting upon men?
Totally, Joe. We're using such a combined approach that it's difficult to share almost in a sense, because we're combining breath work with dating advice, with using the scales of consciousness and the chakra systems and these different maps, these different models of reality. And we're trying to interweave them and make it simple for people to apply. And
mostly men, right?
It's specifically for men, right? Because we're thinking about having an extra section for women specifically, because we understand this is a need for women to heal as well. Specifically their father wounds, mother wounds, all Ryan mentioned, right? So in this sense, we were focusing on the main trinity of health, wealth, relationships. That's what really inspired us. That's what got us to open the door. And then from there, now we're starting to explore all of these different spiritual concepts and topics, from tantra to exploring different types of mudras, mantras that you can say to yourself that actually help you to make exponential change in your life. So we are combining these Kriya yoga techniques with breathwork techniques, and we are starting to understand that there is a system, right? There's a method to the madness. There's
We're understanding the principles behind what the ancient, brothers and sisters have presented us. And then we're just asking the question, can this be done simpler, better, faster, etc.?
More effectively.
And, Sumit has been involved in,
in a previous conversation, we were talking about there are like 1,000 things that, you can teach men, but we are also talking about how you can sit down with a man and give them like, here's the next right thing for you to do. Why don't you talk a little bit about, you'll hear me say this a lot, it's malpractice to give a prescription without a proper diagnosis first.
Of course.
Why don't you talk a little bit about how at Primal Sutra, you've got a vast library of teachings already in the can, and talk a little bit, briefly about how you sit down with a man and find out what they need, and then give them something specific to work on.
Of course. Well, if we would give it advice, it's always to be clear on what you want. Clarity, gets people to buy things. That's what we've learned from you, Joe. Now, if you know where you are, you know where you want to go, it will help the whole process, be it the magical process, be it whatever growth process that you're on. That's one thing I've learned doing these quick, let's call them 15-minute diagnostic sessions. We've had clients before where they want the service, but they just don't really know what they want. Like today morning with Big Kirkwood, where we first had a quick 15 minutes to understand, okay, what's this man going through? Where is he stuck at? Where does he need to be unstuck, freed, cleared? And once we've noted that down, might be 1 or 2 or 3 points, we start to gather all the necessary technology to help him and make that 1 hour worth his damn time.
You know,
Yeah, we're creating breakthroughs, Joe, you know? Like that's
yeah,
really
I
what
just
we're
wanted to,
doing.
I wanted to emphasize that because it's not just technology. I mean, you guys have the expertise, but you also have the humanity. So there is the expertise in terms of the technologies,
Mhm.
but it's you're in the hands of two men who care. Like
Yeah.
this isn't just about like plug into this technology. This is about we care about you and we want to give you the tools, the resources so that you can make those interchanges. Sumed, why don't you talk a little bit about the kinds of transformation? You know, I know some of this stuff is kind of what do you call it? What do you call it? Sworn to secrecy or you know, what do they call that? Like client privilege. You don't disclose any names, but what's some of the kind of transformations that you're helping men have? I mean, in other words, this isn't new. You've been doing this work a long time. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about, you know, people, tell me one or two examples of somebody came to you with a problem and how they've had a transformation.
Absolutely. We helped one of our clients to manifest some money. So he just got some money, right? Like
Right.
maybe,
Right. I
like a
remember.
week or two after
Yeah.
doing the session.
Yeah.
And we were like,
Yeah.
okay, yep, we helped you. You know, that was your intention. You got it. So that was one very successful example. However, I guess the results is felt through your internal world. You're going to feel lighter.
Mhm.
You're going to feel happier. You're going to feel more productive. You're going to
Mhm.
feel that after the integration, because obviously after healing sessions, you do feel a little bit low in your energy because you're still
Mhm.
getting used to like all this stuff that you let go of. So almost like, you know, imagine getting rid of years of trauma. It's like
Mhm.
you're going to feel new into your own body,
Mhm.
right?
It's
And
basically
so
like
we
a
do,
spiritual surgery that we perform on you. That's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the best
exactly.
metaphor that I can give so far. Um,
Yeah.
it is as if the moment you change your paradigm or help the client change the paradigm, by definition, he is a different man. And he just needs his
And we're
awareness just
going
needs to
through
catch up.
people, we're also going through people's like core wounds, and we're actually
Mm-hmm.
looking like directly at what are your main like core wounds?
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing that's been with you your entire life? We're using this bioenergetic framework too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
To like
Most of
help
my
it's
pinpoint.
next
trauma,
level stuff.
most of my trauma comes from drama from my mama.
Hey,
Mm.
the bars,
But
Joe.
no, I
Okay.
think like you spend the last part of your life trying to figure out how they kind of messed you up the first part of your life.
Well,
You know, so look, we all have experience, we all have trauma. We, you know, we've had good things happen to us, we've had some bad things, but why don't, you know, Ryan, why don't you talk a little bit about how past dramas or past traumas affect your way of showing up today, not yours, but any man, any human. Like if you've got past drama, and what's the cost of not healing that stuff, and what's possible once you do heal that stuff?
well, directly the cause is, you're missing out on enjoyment of life. What traumas tend to do is they tend to trigger you, they tend to make you depressed. There's a certain coping mechanism that follows because you as a child have misinterpreted the situation that, let's say, the parent or yourself have caused. That's what I've understood so far in this journey. The ways to heal is basically to figure out what type of, let's say, abandonment issues you have, be it rejection issues, etc. What kind of association, subconscious association you have with mothers and females and your father and men, and understand the emotions behind it. How would you associate with that? And then, I think I've done a session with Sumit recently with for our own studies, where we address trapped emotions associated with such wounds. Meaning, if I'm triggered, right? Not per se offended, but on the inside, there's this rage that builds up, which makes me violent, but I don't want to be violent. But then it takes away from my energy, it takes away from my enjoyment of life. And that's once handled, there's more energy in me. There's more of a lust in life. And that's what I'm looking for as a man. Just be more vital, be more energetic, live life to my fullest. That's what I want as a man.
How can I squeeze more juice out of this orange called life?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. This life called, Ryan G's life. How much more can I get from this? And that's what I want.
Mm,
Looking back at my past, I wish I had this earlier. But
same.
divine timing. Now's the time to handle it. So, dear listeners, viewers, if you think this is the time, reach out.
And you know what, Joe? Like trauma, what it does is it creates a split mind for a lot of people. So it
Mm,
causes disintegration. So they have two concepts that just split in their minds, like freedom and love. Now, oh, I feel free, I'll never feel loved. If I feel
mm,
loved, I'll never feel free. And so the whole journey is this process of integration or primal sutra that brings them back into their wholeness.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that is our true gift.
yeah.
I can
It
have
is
freedom
something you
within my
taught us
love.
before, Joe. The confused mind buys nothing, right? But what if we do that internally and create clarity by bringing the storylines together and removing contradictory storylines that, don't benefit you in any way?
Yeah, that confused mind buys nothing. I think a lot of people, it's like they have like 20 different activities going on in their life and it
Mm,
splits them in multiple directions,
mm,
scattered like a
Yeah.
light bulb. They're not focused like a laser beam. And,
right.
I think for a lot of men, a lot of people, they're, like I do these 20 different things. And, like how can anybody do business with you? And how can you, life is simple, but humans can really like complicate things,
Yeah.
right? So I say, man
Yeah.
who chases two rabbits catches none, or here's one that I've been using a lot more recently is you can't ride two horses with only one asshole. Um,
Okay, okay. That's a good one.
and,
I
and,
didn't
and,
expect it.
and there's this idea that, we have these two different directions. We're split up, but talk about, I assume, Ed, why don't you talk a little bit about the power of integration and really getting one with yourself and one with everything else?
Right. So in there's something called the flow cycle, right? So I'm originally a flow state coach. I have a background in applied positive
Mhm.
psychology, so I understand the flow cycle. It starts with struggle, goes into release phase, flow, and then recovery. What integration is that recovery phase. It's where you're giving yourself love and meaning. You are finding a way to consolidate all the past information that just happened when you were in the flow or in this peak state of mindfulness. So basically, it's like the afterglow effect that takes place. And the integration is important because if we don't look at that recovery, we won't be able to get back into struggle again, which is that work mode, waking consciousness, being active, right? We're trying to get away from that beta brainwave of struggle phase. We're actually trying to raise people up in their consciousness level so they have more access to this alpha theta flow. So we're getting people more into their flow state by actually going through our program. So in a sense, that would
Mhm.
be another byproduct.
Mhm.
Now, I
Okay.
know you guys have got like 60 plus different topics and you do one-on-one coaching, you do two-on-one intensive work with people,
Mhm.
but you've got this new program, the Primal Sutra primary program. And it's from what I gathered from you is you have content. So these six, instead of paying for 60 different courses, Primal Sutra, the group program is a place where you join one program and you kind of start getting access to everything one piece at a time. So
Mhm.
you get this content, plus you get coaching, you get support, and you get a place to ask questions and work on your stuff. And then there's a community. And from what I get is you have this program, and it's what, $99 a month for men to
Mhm.
join, for them to um, what tell me a little bit about this new program. Maybe start with Ryan. Tell us a little bit about the new program and what men can expect to get in this program.
So basically, we start with the diagnostics, where do you want to go? Where are you now? And from there, we, map out the steps that we'll take, be it from the breath work, be it from channeling deities, be it from figuring out just, inherited wounds. And then slowly and slowly, we go to the next level. depending on how fast you can go. Submit,
So,
anything to add?
so you help them map out their journey of where they need to work on. You don't need to work on 60 things or 100 things at a time. I think
You
let's figure
don't.
out what's the one thing that you need to work on next.
Yes, because we want to be effective
Yeah.
and efficient. We don't want to waste people's time, money. We just want to get the job done so that you can enjoy more of your life.
We're also working a lot with archetypes, which is very interesting. We're doing a lot of work with how can we find, because I believe archetypes are basically states of consciousness, or in a sense they're there for us to learn from, right? These symbols, these symbolic things that we're getting from these sessions and whatever is coming through our subconscious mind. So we're doing a lot of subconscious work for people. So we're actually reprogramming their minds. We've actually created our first product, which is a golden shadow subliminal. So what we've done is, the golden shadow is basically the fear of your own greatness, right? And so when you listen to this every morning, when you wake up, just 5 minutes is all it takes. Your life is going to improve exponentially. I and Ryan have been using it for the time being, and our results have just gone in just 5 days, you know? And so I believe we also had purchase from Eddie and a couple of other people who are interested in this, but it's so powerful to understand this concept of the golden shadow, that what if I'm too beautiful or too fabulous or too amazing?
Yeah.
Like, what if like that fear, you know, of being seen, and men, they have this biggest fear of being seen. That's the two most blocked, in a sense, for a lot of men.
Exactly. We've seen it a lot indeed. So the reason why we've created the Golden Shadow program, or I should say the subliminal, is on the one hand, we've noticed most of our clients have this fear of greatness, and that includes me. And we've also noticed we want speed and effectiveness. And so far, according to our testing, subliminals tend to work very fast, especially those who are sensitive to it. It works insanely fast. And if need be, they can always do a quick session with us, and then we fix the more in-depth things.
Let me ask you. So if somebody does join the Primal Sutra program, is the golden shadow one of the first things they get? Or is that a separate?
We haven't thought about that, actually, but now that you say it, Joe, I think that'd be fair. That would be a fair
nice
way to go about it. You know, if they do the 99 a month, yeah, they'll get it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that, Ryan? Does that feel aligned for you?
Yeah, initially I was gonna say no, but the more I think about it, it's too important not to have in the core program. It's just too important.
It's like we wake up to alarm clocks, right, Joe? Why not wake up to morning affirmations and something super positive that changes your subconscious mind?
Why not wake up to power? Why not wake up as it's one of those famous questions we've learned from one of our ancient brothers, right? What if you woke up the next morning completely healed? Would you tolerate your own bullshit? The answer is no. Of course you wouldn't. So that's why we've designed these subliminals, to make sure that day after day you're being reminded that you are one bad motherfucker, but you tend to forget these things. So there you go.
Yeah, I think we tend to you know, I think, you know, like, what's the difference between humility and pride? Or, you know, what's the difference between arrogance and confidence? Like, you know, we want to have confidence, but we don't want to be arrogant. You know, we want to have confidence and certainty, but we don't want to be so prideful that we alienate people. Yeah. I asked the white man one time, I go, what's the difference between confidence and arrogance? He said, confidence is the honest to God belief that I can do something. Confidence is the honest to God belief that I can serve you, or have the honest to God belief that I can improve your conditions. But arrogance is this honest to God, I have this honest to God belief that I can't learn anything from you. Honest to God belief that I'm better than you. And one of my, you know, one of my favorite definitions of humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking more of others. Okay.
Thinking yourself less, right? Yeah. I love that one.
Yeah. And so So why don't you, Sumed, why don't you riff on that a little bit about how can people embrace the golden shadow and embrace their greatness without being an arrogant prick? Okay,
Mm.
I got
It's a good question, really.
a funny joke. What's the difference between a Porsche and a porcupine? A porcupine has all of its pricks on the outside.
Ah, ah,
All right.
I knew there was something
Joe's
to
dropping
this.
the jokes today, Ryan. You see that?
I knew there was something to this.
Go ahead, Sumed. How do you help men?
Yeah.
There's this golden shadow. How do you help people gain this confidence of their champion nature without them becoming, your ego is not your amigo?
Right. So this is kind of the model that we've understood in Primal Sutra. Your internal world is where you will find your confidence.
Mm.
When you are seeking it externally, it becomes arrogance. It becomes insecurity. So these are the two spectrums: insecurity on one side, arrogance on the other. Core confidence is what we're looking for. It's that feeling of aliveness. I love this quote by Krishnamurti that one of my friends and coaches, Yadavir, shared, which is, a confident man is a dead man, because he's looking at the past for his successes and trying to pull from the past and constantly rest on his laurels, rather than accessing the aliveness and confidence that he has within himself to merge worlds and be that catalyst.
I love that.
So that would be the difference, is we're helping men to access their confidence internally, not from seeking, trophies and, external material stuff.
Yeah.
Finding your own inner power and your own inner strength.
It is,
right.
But this happens to be related to one of my wounds. I always want to be competent. I always want to be the best. I always want to win, and I'm seeking achievement. But what if I was already complete and free? Would the achievement weigh that much? Would it be that obsessed? Would it be that in need for it? The answer is not, because I'm already complete and free. I don't need the achievement. The achievement itself is because I just wanted it. And thus freeing myself of this golden cage that I have built. And that's the power of Primal Sutra.
So look, I've known both of you guys for quite a while. I want you guys to know that anybody watching this or listening to this, that there's a lot of average people on this earth, but it's not always often that we get this opportunity to learn from people who are, living at a higher vibration. And let's start with Sumed. Why should people join Primal Sutra and join your community and study with you guys? Why are you different? Why, what is it that you bring to the table that they're not going to get anywhere else?
If you as a man are struggling, if you're suffering in life, if you are in resistance to everything that's happening around you and internally, you don't have a connection to your internal world, you've cut yourself off, you've disconnected yourself from source, you're in your head, you're anxious, you're in that fight or flight mode. You want to travel from there, that fear, into being the man who embodies Primal Sutra. So the man who embodies Primal Sutra is the one that shows up and believes in his own process, believes in himself. So that is the rocket fuel that we're giving people, because once they access that golden shadow, they understand that once the shadow is revealed, it's no more a shadow. It's just a part of you.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's a part of them. Their greatness is just accessible now, right? Previously, they were just trying to get there. So we're really helping make this spiritual process more effortless, more effective. So if you're looking for that kind of transformation, definitely reach out to myself or Ryan, because we've been doing the work. And you can't measure it, because internal world work can't really be measured, but you can. Let me just tell you, from the time that I started this process and the time that I am right now, it's just been life-changing. So I'm just sharing that with your audience, Joe. Thank you for this.
I was watching an episode of Madam Secretary, and there was all these Buddhist monks, and he goes, this one's this name, and this one's this name, and this one's this name. He goes, you can tell them apart by their different auras. And she's like, she took a step back, and he goes, oh, that was just Buddhist humor.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
Ryan, why do you think people should join you? And what's the reason why people should join you in Primal
Well,
Sutra?
let's look at it from my perspective. If you have done so many years of, trying to improve yourself, things are not working out, and you're just fed up, right? You're fed up as a man. You feel this disingenuousness from the world. You feel like you can't be that authentic man that you can be. You feel like you've lost sight of what it means to be a man. You lost sight of what the why of why are you even alive, right? If you want to rediscover that, if you want to improve the relationship with yourself, with your parents, with the world, Primal Sutra is the place to do it. Now I talk a big game, but here's the thing, man, I walk it too. And if you're that kind of man, join us. We need more men, strong men in this world. And if you think that too, then this is a place for you. Straight up.
It's a tribe, isn't it? It's a tribe of other men too.
Well,
So
it's going to be. It's not just
growing.
about the technology. It's not just about the healing. It's about the divine masculine, really reintroducing that in this world, because that's what we need now. We need stronger men, better men. All this talk about toxic masculinity, who gives a damn? What I want for this world is stronger men. And if they want to join, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it together. Let's do it as brothers and
And
build a better
again, man,
world.
like the term, even the term toxic masculinity, it's painting this image in men's minds that it's something poisonous. Toxic is something that's poisonous. And yes, a wounded person can't hurt others, right? So it's not toxic masculinity, it's wounded masculinity. And
Agreed.
we're healing that aspect that men have, and we're just helping men to integrate and find that for themselves, because you can get wrapped up in all of the news articles and different things and get so spiritually castrated in a sense. So you just become like
Yeah.
like a eunuch or something. But in a sense, you still want this primordial animalistic
It's
part
what
of
makes
you
men
alive.
men.
Yeah,
It's what
I
made men
heard
dangerous.
somebody talked about appropriate masculinity. But true masculinity isn't toxic at all. It's about truly being a man and owning, like, I was born a man, I live as a man, I'm proud of who I am as a man. I celebrate the fact that I'm a man, and and I take responsibility as a man for how I show up. And I have no intention of being toxic. We're all sinners in a way. Like we all do things every once in a while that's harmful, but like true masculinity isn't toxic. True masculinity is being a man and showing up as your best possible
Right.
self.
Right, Joe. And the thing is, we haven't been hearing like just where are all the good men from men. We're hearing it from women. And like where are all the guys like who we were born into a culture like loving superheroes, seeing these amazing like leaders and men, and we have this thing inside of us. Every boyhood dream is to be that guy, And so what if that guy was actually possible? What if you were there already, but time just had to speed up, and the quantum reality just had to get to that point where you merge with that parallel reality? Like that's what we're really saying. And in a sense, I think that we can get very scrambled as men. We need some discipline. We need a container of space where we can be that echo chamber and grow as a tribe and impact the world in such a way where it doesn't become about us. It becomes about the movement of Primal Sutra. The idea that it's going to cause ripple effects across the planet. When someone is more in their the light yang energy, they're protective, they're loving, they're compassionate. At the same time, they're dominant when they can be. They're stepping up, they're fighting their own internal battles. Absolutely, strength. And we have a whole list of maps that we've given people. we're like the type of guys who like we're the web weavers, Joe. So we take a bunch of these different platforms that have worked for men and worked for spirituality, and we're crystallizing. We're like getting to what is the core of that, really.
Yeah.
And we're
And then
presenting
from the
that.
core we move.
Exactly. The
Yeah, we
momentum
live in a
builds
world
from-
where we're living in a world where men and women are not polarized towards each other. There's forces pulling us apart. Women are having, they're having a crisis of what does it mean to be a woman, and men are having a crisis of what it takes to be a man. And if you watch the news, it doesn't do anything to make us better people. It probably confuses us more. And what I have to say about what you guys are doing at Primal Sutra is it's a place, it's a community, it's a tribe, it's a workshop, it's a dojo, it's a container to actually train yourself, to train your psyche, to train your spirituality to become that amazing man. And one of the things I get from you, both of you, is that Primal Sutra is not a program about dating, but you'll teach men how to date. Primal Sutra is not a relationship program, but you'll teach men to have a better relationship. It's not a wealth program, and yet you'll become better at your wealth inside of Primal Sutra. It's not a workout program, and yet you'll teach men to be strong and healthier. And so, we want to wrap this up and get some final thoughts from you guys. But like what I just really want to say is the world is not supporting you in being a better man, but Primal Sutra is a place where you can become a better man.
Yeah.
And I just want to encourage you guys, any man that's out there that wants to be a better man, but you're finding it difficult to do that on your own, and you need a support structure, you need help, you need leaders that will help you go through that path of inner discovery to become that best version of yourself. You're in great hands with Ryan and Sumed. Ryan, do you have any final thoughts as we wrap this up? Before we do that, also, how can people contact you guys?
Well, you contact us via Instagram. We can post all our details with the publishing of this video. And my final thoughts would be, may your life never be the same. Yeah, that would be it. May your life never be the same.
Very good. Sumed.
If you're interested in this process, you are going to learn not just how to take care of yourself and evolve as a man on this planet. You're also going to get the gift of your life purpose. Like what really is that code that will give you that direction? And I think a lot of men, they're lacking that direction, which is leading them to lack in their masculine polarity. If you don't have direction as a man, you're spinning circles, you're drifting. And so I really think that this is a valuable product when people can understand that there's a roadmap to actually figuring out a way that you can get aligned onto the path that you're supposed to be, right? The word sin just means that we've missed our mark, right? It's an archery term. So we just got to get holy with our beingness. We're gods in training. And I don't say that in any, sacrilegious way. I believe that we are here to be representations, divine sparks, that divine gnosis, that is supposed to be our reality. We're meant to be creators. We're meant to have that yang energy and create and pull forth music and mysticism and magic and love and laughter and life. And so, yeah, man, may the flow be with you. As Ryan said, may you never be the same again. Thanks for having us on here, Joe. Appreciate it.
Yeah, if you're not the best man you can be, you are cheating yourself, but you're also cheating your relationships, and you're cheating the world. The world needs you to show up fully as the best man that you're capable of being. And if you're having trouble, if you're not fully realizing that on your own effort, then I encourage you to, get get in the circle of Primal Sutra. They say that you're the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. And if you're hanging out with men who are not helping you become a better man, then I recommend that, Ryan and Sumed is a great starting place to put yourself in a circle of men committed. Sumed is committed to himself being a better man, a more spiritual man. Ryan is committed to himself and being a better man and doing this to help other men become better men. So please reach out to Sumed. Please reach out to Ryan. These are men that are not selfish. They're here doing good in the world to help other men. And, even if you never sign up for a program, even if you never spend a penny with them, reach out to these guys because they're here, the connection itself is valuable, so connect with Ryan, connect with Sumed, start a conversation. You're crazy if you don't, because these guys are living at the top level and they want to pull you up. But if you want to get to the top, you got to let go of the bottom. Okay, so be willing to reach out and extend yourself. Go ahead, Sumed.
Yeah, just let go of that emotional baggage. Okay, we're on Kundalini Airlines where we don't need any baggage. Okay, so in a sense, just join us, join our process. I think that just by speaking to us, we're very friendly, by the way. We might seem stoic and in our own worlds. However, we're actually open to, relating with others and connecting. If you find value in today's conversation and you want to reach out, definitely do that. Thank you.
All right, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap this up.